Good evening. I'm Scott Saunier, Chief Administrative Officer for Iberia Parish Government, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Simon Theater for the second annual State of the Parish Address. Tonight, you will get a chance to hear from a sampling of the 18 departments that work daily to improve Iberia Parish. You will hear from Mike Tarantino regarding the importance of working together for economic development, and you will hear from the parish president. All of this is an effort to communicate the current state of and the future plans being executed for the betterment of Iberia Parish. Before we begin the presentations, I want to give you an idea of what this council and administration faced when taking office in 2016, mainly the financial situation affecting the general fund. What was accomplished in the first year to help correct that substantial deficit, and I also want to bring to light the positive attitude that is present in everyone, even when facing some not-so-fun tasks. I'll start with a couple of quotes from Mr. Richard. My first year as parish president began in January of 2016. Immediately, I was faced with a financial situation that was less than positive. We were handed a budget with significant shortfalls. Most glaring was a budget presented previously with a $1.2 million deficit within the general fund. Later, an additional $1.8 million deficit was discovered within the same fund. This basically meant that the general fund was broke. Over the next 10 months, through efforts by the administration and council, we were able to balance the budget. The 2017 budget was adopted with a $5,000 surplus. Now, $5,000 is a minuscule amount of money when you consider that the entire parish budget is over $90 million. Previously, general fund amounts were in excess of $3 to $4 million. And again, we started with $5,000. Now, most people would simply quit faced with a problem of this magnitude. But this is what Mr. Richard said, and I quote, "The situation is not isolated to Iberia Parish. Everyone knows that tax revenues are down, royalty numbers are down, so what do? Well, the decision is simple. Iberia Parish government must be run like a business, with taxpayers getting a solid return on their investment. It is my responsibility to provide our parish with proactive leadership that will result in decision-making processes which are in the best interest of the constituency. The people who have invested their trust, taxpayers who have invested their money, and industry looking to invest in our infrastructure. From spending freezes to staff reductions, we found a way to balance the budget, even in these times. $578,000 were saved simply by not replacing staff, which were lost through attrition when possible. 11 positions were defunded, and workloads are being spread to existing employees. An example of this is in planning and zoning. Staffing costs were $326,000 pre-2017. We reduced that expenditure to $124,000. These are tough decisions, but are sound business practices. By the way, in the midst of running the day-to-day operations and dealing with the budget crisis, we had the unfortunate August rain event, which led to a significant flooding in much of the parish. Through execution of a response plan developed by our Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, we were able to not only deal with the immediate issues, but are continuing to deal with the disaster on an appropriate level. Now I want to give you some good news. The good news is we're continuing efforts to build upon previously planned progress and introduce new projects. While facing some obstacles, we are making steady progress on many fronts that you will hear about tonight. As we like to say, Iberia Parish is open for business. Based on the amount of time allotted to this event, there's no way we could have had all 18 departments present this evening. Therefore, you will hear from about 8 of them. We applaud the efforts of each department and assure you that during each annual event, a different group of departments will be chosen. Therefore, everyone will be represented. I would like to ask that everyone present, when you get a chance to, say thank you to the employees of Iberia Parish, because I can assure you that there are over 300 people working day in and day out to improve the quality of life for everyone of us who call Iberia Parish home. Now I want to introduce a man that promised to address several issues when he ran for office: drainage, roads, and economic development. And I think after his presentation, you will have to say that he's holding true to those promises. Please give a warm welcome to your parish president, M. Larry Richard.
Thank you, Scott. First, I'd like to thank God for allowing us all to be here this evening. And I want to say thank you to all that's involved in putting this together. I thought long and hard about how I wanted this to be perceived. I want the people of Iberia Parish to know and to understand what types of services they are paying for. So today, instead of me just standing up here talking about roads and drainage, I decided to try to inform you on some of the other things that's going on in Iberia Parish. Once this presentation is over, I will be here for you to talk to me, ask me any questions, ask any of the directors that's here any questions, and the parish council is here as well. I'd like to thank all of the directors here who helped me with this here. I have a lot of parish councilmen out here, so I'm gonna try to do my best to introduce them. I see Eugene Olivier, wave your hand. Colombo, Brian Napier. Paul Landry, Natalie Broussard, our chairman. Tommy Landry. Joel Dugard, Mike Landry, Warren Goshasan, Mr. Lloyd Brown, and I also see Marty Traha. God, can't miss Marty for sure. And I also see our attorney here, Andy Shealy. I want you to be recognized as well. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this presentation to under 1 hour. And with that said, gotta get all this together here. This is cheap production. What I wanna say is Iberia Parish have unbelievable capacities that you see here. We have Highway 90, the future I-49, the Port of Iberia, Acadiana Regional Airport, rail, and many other great opportunities. Tonight I want to express the vision and the current state of this parish. So with that said, the vision that we have in Iberia Parish is to create and follow an actionable plan to achieve the best quality of life for our citizens. At this particular time, I'm going to play a video by our finance director, Kim Segura, and she's going to give us a little bit of information on what's going on with our finances in Iberia Parish.
Iberia Parish Government's Finance Department is responsible for processing, recording, and analyzing all financial functions of parish government's funds, departments, and agencies. This includes collection of all revenues and payment of all expenditures and related reconciliations. Budgeting and auditing are also essential functions of the department. Significant efforts are expended in order to ensure and maintain compliance with applicable federal and state laws and regulations. For fiscal 2017, the consolidated budget of Iberia Parish Government reported the following totals: revenues, $47.5 million, expenditures, $75.6 million, beginning fund balance, $70.5 million, ending fund balance, $42.4 million. Approximately 48% of the parish's revenues are derived from taxes, licenses, and permits, with an additional 35% of the parish's revenues coming from intergovernmental revenues. Of the total expenditures reported, approximately 35% will be spent on capital outlay. These expenditures will result in the acquisition or construction of capital assets. Public safety, public works, and health and welfare spending will be approximately 10% or $7.5 million each. For fiscal 2017, revenues are accounted for as follows: ad valorem taxes, 26%, sales taxes, 20%, licenses and permits, 3%, intergovernmental revenues, 34%, fees, charges, and commissions, 12%, interdepartmental charges, 2%, fines and forfeitures, 1%, interest earnings, 1%, rents and royalties, 1%. For fiscal 2017, the expenditures are accounted for as follows: general government, 9%, public safety, 10%, public works, 10%, sanitation, 3%, water, 1%, health and welfare, 10%, culture and recreation, 8%, economic development, 5%, urban redevelopment and housing, 2%, transportation, 1%, debt service, 6%, and capital outlay, 35%. That accounts for 100% of the total expenditures budgeted.
Okay. Now we're going to look at some financial facts. Our TIF dollars right now are down by 28%. Our garbage collection is down by 20%. Mosquito control abatement is down by 10%. Recreation is down by 15%. Our ad valorem taxes is about the same as it was last year. Our levy that the people voted on in Iberia Parish is 32.39%, but the actual levy that was assessed last year in 2016 was 26.12%. Currently, the Iberia Parish Council have a levy of, an authorized levy of 27.57%. Our 2017 budget was budgeted with a 10% decrease from last year. And most of you know that last year we had a pretty bad year, so we figured that if we would put 10% decrease, we would be doing pretty good. But as you can see, some of the revenues that's coming in is actually greater than that. And with that said, we're still maintaining in Iberia Parish. We monitor our finances on a regular basis. So at some point in time, we may have to go to the parish council to amend the budget, but as of right now, we're maintaining. At this time, we're going to do a video presentation from the procurement department. Michael Broussard.
My name is Michael Broussard. I'm the purchasing officer for the parish. My main duties are to ensure that the parish fully complies with state bid law, parish ordinances, as well as any federal guidelines that we may be required to adhere to for federally funded purchases and or construction projects. My role is more of a support role for the operations of all the departments. We're constantly evaluating our purchasing process to ensure that it's being done in an efficient manner, to just make sure that everything's done in the best way it could possibly be done. So we're constantly requesting feedback and evaluating amongst the administrative staff of ways we can improve things while still complying with those rules and regulations that we have to. I consider one of my other main duties is to ensure that the process maintains a level of integrity, that we're public servants and that the public should have a level of confidence that the way the process is done fair, open, and encourages competition and encourages vendors to want to do business with the parish. So I take that responsibility seriously, and I think we've done well at maintaining a reputation of a process of higher standards. In addition to those duties, I work closely with our design professionals, the architects and engineers that handle our construction projects. So I'm in constant contact with them as far as coordinating those projects to be bid out and administering the contract through the construction process. I also work closely with our facilities management consultant, who oversees the maintenance and upkeep of our buildings and kind of specifies to us what his recommendations are to properly maintain our facilities. So I kind of handle that for the parish. And also I'm in charge of handling the disposal of surplus property. So when there's equipment or buildings, for that matter, that's determined they're no longer they've reached their end of useful life, it's my role to see to it that it's properly disposed of by a surplus auction, and that pretty much covers everything that I do on a daily basis. One of the future goals that I have for the department and for the benefit of the whole parish is to explore the capabilities of our financial management system to automate the purchasing process more efficiently. So we currently have processes in place, but I look to improve those processes by taking advantage of the capabilities of our financial management system.
Okay, as you can see, purchasing is a major responsibility in Iberia Parish. Earlier you heard Scott say that we have a $90+ million business that we're running here, and we have one purchasing agent who handles all of the purchasing and contracts for the parish, so he's extremely busy. And I want to thank you so much, Michael, for what you do. And another thing I want to add on before I move to the next one is every RFP, RFQ that we do, bid in Iberia Parish that we do, is actually opened on the 4th floor in front of every contractor that's bidding. It's completely transparent. We do it for a reason, because we want to keep things right in Iberia Parish. Procurement is a huge responsibility, and again, we're trying to do the best thing, do the best we can. Next, we're going to see a video on Public Works, and that's Herman Broussard.
My name is Herman Broussard, and I'm the Public Works Director of Iberia Parish Government. My responsibilities is to oversee 30+ employees out in the fields. I have a office staff of 6, along with 3 supervisors and 2 crew leaders. And our job is day-to-day operations, basically is maintaining the parish. That's for roads, roadside drainage, field drainage, mains and laterals. And in doing so, we do roadside drainage day-to-day with excavators and gradals. We cut roadside drainage grass cutting to keep the grass and debris, trees from taking over. We also do lateral cutting in the fields with side booms, and that's to control the growth of brush and grass in our drainage. We also have a spray contract that we do spraying on our more major drainage in laterals. They spray the embankments to keep out trees and brush and cut grass, which is more known as duckweed. It'll grow and choke up the flow of water, so we spray for all of that, and hopefully we can keep all that down and keep the drainage open. And that's all done day to day. That's everyday operation. We also do maintenance on our roads, as far as doing pothole patching. Some small, simple overlay projects we'll do. We don't get into the heavy overlay jobs that's put out for bid on road projects, and it's contracted. But we do all the basic road maintenance as far as pothole, some small overlay, road patching, and shoulder erosion repairs and stuff like that. And that's done day to day. That's every day. It's just basic maintenance that we provide. We also have crews that go out and check on debris. We deal with a lot of illegal dumping today, so we have to, dispatch crews to go out and try to get control on that. Get the tires, automobile gas tanks, just a variety of different items that people go out and throw into our drainage. So that's a task that we deal with pretty much. We have a crew of about 7 excavators that we keep on drainage and field laterals and mains. And that's just scheduled week after week. When one job is completed, we move on to another, day to day. So basically, that's what we do in public works. We just try to maintain what we have. On a different subject, we got in the past year, we've done about 45 work orders, requesting work orders, 4,500. I'm sorry. In that time, that those work orders was for spraying, for grass cutting, for drainage, roadside infields, road patching, and some small overlays. We done cross drain upgrades in our roads. That's when we have culverts that collapse and we have to repair or replace. And normally when we replace, we do an upgrade. We put a bigger culvert in for the drainage to give more outflow. We've done bulkhead work throughout the year on several areas, Interlaken, College Road, numerous roads that we've done, and we have more to do in the future. We've done a lot of bridges that was closed due to maintenance, lack of maintenance. There were several bridges that was redone, reconstructed, brand new concrete structured bridges throughout the parish. And there's several more that's being looked into right now with our local engineer as far as to repair or do some reconstruction on the bridges. So basically that's what we're doing. The administration is looking into a priority road list for road maintenance. That's been done. The list has been completed. Now they have to sit to the table along with the council and see if we can get some funds for this to get some road projects in place. That's been our biggest problem in the past years is funding. A lot of this stuff needs to be done, but you got to have money to do it, and that's where the task's going to come in. They're going to have to get together and see what they could do. Hopefully, it won't be taxes, but it may wind up being a tax, a road tax, but we have to wait and see. On a different note, we're looking at doing what we're doing it better, and doing more of it to make things better for Iberia Parish, to make people more at ease to live here. Make drainage better, get better outflow. Sit down on the table with higher government to do bigger scales of projects for coastal erosion. Get our coast back. Stop all this invasion of tide waters that we're dealing with today. That makes drainage so much hard, to deal with. And it's just something that Public Works is looking forward to doing. And it's what we got to do. It's what we need to do to try to make the parish better and, for people to live on.
Well, as you can see, or as you heard, Public Works have a lot of work, a lot of responsibility. What you have in front of you is a spreadsheet that we put together that talk about channels that we need to get cleaned in-house by Public Works. And I want you to concentrate on the distance, the work distance, the project benefits, and the duration of time it takes to complete the work. I'm just going to pick a couple from here. Armco Canal, for example, is a 3-mile project. Before you get to cleaning, before you get to using an excavator, you have to go out and use that slash buster that you seen earlier, removing those trees. Once we complete that particular Armco Canal, it's going to drain the whole northwest side of the parish, which flows into Bayou Petitons. We estimate that project to take about 12 months. Currently, we're working on one of those channels right now, which is People's Coulee, which is only a little bit more than a half-mile. But that drains Jefferson Terrace and Admiral north into the city, Southport subdivision, and many acres of farmland. That's going to take about 2.5 months to do that. In fact, we just got the diety tickets today to where we can start that project tomorrow. And when we finish that project, we're going to Commercial Canal, which is another big project for us that need to be done. We have a lot of projects, and every one of them need to be done. and need to be done pretty quick. But they haven't been done in so many years, so we can only do what we can, but we will catch up. The Parish Council passed a resolution not long ago authorizing the administration to go out and get some analysis done on several channels in Iberia Parish that need to be cleaned. And we want to just make sure that once we clean those channels that haven't been cleaned in so many years, that it don't have a negative impact in the areas where we're cleaning. That's been approved by the Parish Council, and the resolution been approved by me, and actually we just sent it to the contractor, if I'm not mistaken, on yesterday. And so those analyses are going to be given to us shortly. And the channels that we want to get clean right there, or the canals that we want to get clean there, is Park Purdue, Delahousie Canal, DeBlanc Coulee, and also Norris Branch Canal. Big canals that need to be done in Iberia Parish to try to get our drainage system working correctly. At this time, I'm going to bring up, well, I'm not going to bring up, but we're going to have a video presentation on Mr. John Rain. And Mr. John Rain is going to tell us about what's going on in planning and zoning.
I'm John Rains. I'm the Director of Permitting, Planning, and Zoning for Iberia Parish. We are responsible for the preservation, protection, and promotion of the health, safety, and welfare of the community. And all of that contributes to the quality of life for our citizens today, tomorrow, and into the future. What my office does to help that program and that momentum continue for as long as ever is to protect the building environment. What we have here is a map of Iberia Parish that allows us to see where certain structures and buildings can be built. And we reuse these to make determinations about building code compliance and where there needs to be adjustments made or where we need to make changes in the actual codes themselves. We review all of the building plans that occur in Iberia Parish. We take care of all enforcement from a land use regulation standpoint. We help lay out all of the streets to ensure that the streets that are built are to proper capacity, lane width, and proper design for turning radiuses, and for alignment with other streets that exist to date. And from there, we try our best to make sure that everything that occurs in Iberia Parish is for the betterment of the entire parish, as opposed to an individual whim or fancy of a certain party or parties. We look to make decisions in light of the entirety of the quality of life of Iberia Parish.
Okay, for your information, planning and zoning is operating with about a 60% reduction in expenses since 2016. We have gone from 5 employees to 3. And for the record, over the last year and a half, we have issued over 650 permits. So I think we're doing a pretty good job in doing this here. At this particular time, I'm going to show a video from IDF, Mike Tarantino.
I'm Mike Tarantino, President and CEO of the Iberia Industrial Development Foundation. We're the primary facilitator of economic, industrial, and community development for Iberia Parish and all its municipalities. We work very closely with Iberia Parish government and the Parish Council on many projects that will help our community grow. We've got a wonderful community. We've got a lot of unique assets and hardworking people. Economic development is all about bringing those pieces together to create better opportunities for our citizens. We do that through marketing, recruitment, business and retention services, small business advisory services, and on the marketing, from the marketing perspective, we work very closely with the Port of Iberia and the Acadiana Regional Airport to make sure that the larger world knows all the opportunities that are available right here in Iberia Parish. Iberia Parish has got a great quality of life. We've got hardworking people, we've got wonderful assets, we've got a place full of recreation, great families, a wonderful place to be. Building on Iberia Parish's quality of life to attract residents and new business is a very important part of what we do. Working together in partnership with governmental authorities and other economic development agencies is very important in helping our community grow. We're working very closely with the administration and the parish council on putting together various items of a master plan which will help us move forward together, which will help us to, despite the current challenges in the oil and gas industry, will help us to find the resources and continue to make improvements across the board, whether they be in infrastructure, whether they be in marketing, workforce development, training, other respects. We want to make sure that Iberia Parish, that we reach out, we get the best cases, we get the best things, and we bring them right back home to Iberia Parish.
Okay, from there, I'm going to show 5 guidelines that we use in doing projects in Iberia Parish. First, we try to find out if the project is necessary and will it improve the safety in Iberia Parish, and is it economically beneficial to do the project. Also, we like to find out if it's evidence-based and if the cost efficiency, if the cost affects, and if we have all of the financial support that we need to get the project completed. For example, some of the projects that we did in Iberia Parish, since January, is we completed the Cooley Road Bridge over Dubois Canal, the David Dubois Bridge over Rodair Canal, Bull Island Road Bridge, also Railroad Road Bridge, Crochet Bridge, Gondron Road Bridge, John Lewis Bridge, Bull Island Road Bridge, and a lot of projects we've done. I don't want to go through all of this with you because you're going to say, well, he's wasting his time going through that. But we also did things like renovated or built a new record storage building for the clerk office. We're in the process of redoing the Robert B. Green building. We're in the process of doing some work on the 2nd floor at the courthouse. We're getting ready to renovate the animal control building. So we'll have some good projects that's actually going on right now. The Parish Council also passed a resolution authorizing the administration to do analysis or a road priority list, get a road priority list that we need in Iberia Parish. This is something that we have to have, of course, for us to be able to receive the dollars that we receive from the state and the Department of Transportation. We completed that particular, or the engineering company completed that road priority list and gave us roads that they feel that we need to do with different priorities, priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3. Also, they showed us where they had roads that they felt that we should do patching. In that report, it came out saying that we need about $2.4 million to do maintenance in Iberia Parish. We currently have about $400,000 that we do maintenance with in Iberia Parish. We have about $38 million worth of roads that need to be overlaid in Iberia Parish, and we don't have a dedicated fund to get those roads done. So in saying that, we're going to definitely have to put our heads together and make some things work. At this time, we're going to do a video presentation on Recreation District.
Katie Landry, Director of Iberia Parish Parks and Recreation. We operate and maintain 16 parks throughout the parish of Iberia. It encompasses the town of Delcombe, City of Jenerette, Village of Laurelville. We operate over 30 ball fields, 6 multi-purpose buildings, including a gymnasium. We have 8 hard surface courts at one tennis complex here. We have an 18 basket disc golf course, picnic shelters, playgrounds. We also, in January, began operating the RV resort here, the Isle of Iberia. We have 185 campsites, a lazy river, splash pad, a full-service resort area. We are committed to improving the quality of life for the citizens of Iberia Parish through leisure time activities. We offer a wide range of recreation opportunities, including our day camp, baseball, and many other activities throughout the season. We partner with ISA, with soccer, some nonprofits, with some walks and runs and real fun activities. We bring the fun. So that's our tagline. So we are committed to the parish and the citizens here to provide good quality recreation.
Okay, Parks and Recreation, they're doing a very good job. The Parks and Recreation have different programs that's being put on throughout the year. For those of you who don't know, and this is something that I feel that we all should take advantage of, all the way from aerobics, yoga, which is something that I've been taking lately, so it's a good opportunity for all of us that need some exercise. Now we're going to do a video with Jason with the Acadiana Regional Airport.
I am Jason DeVilliers. I am the Airport Director for the Iberia Parish Airport Authority. We are tasked with managing both the Acadiana Regional Airport here in New Iberia and the Lemaire Memorial Airport in Jeanerette. Acadiana Regional Airport back in the day started out as an old Navy auxiliary air station. We were the training center for naval cadets. We were the base for the Grumman S-2 aircraft, which was a submarine hunter. It flew out over the Gulf of Mexico looking for enemy submarines back in the Cold War days. The auxiliary air station was closed down in the mid-60s, about 1966, and it was turned over by the federal government to the Iberia Parish Police Jury at the time for the intent and purpose of developing the old naval base into a full commercial services airport, which we are well on our way to doing. Acadiana Regional Airport is a fully licensed, certificated air carrier airport under the Federal Aviation Administration. So we are no different in our licensing than our neighbors down the road in Lafayette, New Orleans, or even Houston, Bush Intercontinental. We have the same operating certificate that they do. We've been busy here at Acadiana Regional Airport. We just wrapped up phase one of our brand new terminal, the first terminal building here in Iberia Parish. The Brigadier General Willis P. Segura Terminal was officially opened in February, and shortly thereafter we signed on our first user, Bristow Helicopters, and they have been operating ever since. The long-term goal is to take the phase one of the terminal, convert it into phase two, which would involve relocating the fire station. Of course, we'll have to build a new fire station before we do that, but taking the old fire station building, convert that to phase two, which would basically triple the size. We would be an alternative to passengers that don't necessarily need a connect from Houston, Memphis, Atlanta, places like that. But if you're just looking for a short hop to Houston, you just have to get there, or to Memphis, or even to Pensacola, maybe ultimately even the Caribbean. We want to be the stop for that. And like I said, the Acadiana Regional Airport is well on its way to doing that. Some other projects that we've recently finished up, of course, we've just finished completely modernizing our air traffic control tower. We are a full radar-equipped facility. We can provide all the air traffic services that all of our neighbor airports may provide. They can provide with control towers. We are about to wrap up a $3.5 million airfield rehabilitation program. We've just remarked the runway, resealed the concrete, and we're converting our airfield lighting system from the old quartz bulb system to the new, more energy efficient LED system. So that project will be complete by the end of the year. Other projects that we have done, we've rehabilitated the north area to make it prime for construction of hangars, both public and private development. We will continue to work on our airport access road, both from the north and from the south. So we've been busy for the last couple of years. Of course, going forward to the future is to continue the development of the passenger terminal. As I mentioned, build us a new state-of-the-art aircraft rescue and firefighting station, and develop our passenger service from there.
Okay, the Acadiana Regional Airport is critical to the development of Iberia Parish, and it's extremely important that we don't forget that moving forward. We have the Acadiana Regional Airport, also the Port of Iberia. That is really the two major areas for industry that we need to be paying attention to in Iberia Parish, as far as I'm concerned, as far as trying to develop infrastructure. Now we're going to do Homeland Security. Prescott Marshall will present us on video.
My name is Prescott Marshall. I go by Press. I have two jobs, actually. I'm the director of the Office of Emergency Preparedness and Homeland Security for the parish president and Iberia Parish government. I'm also the director of the Iberia Parish Communications District, and in that position I'm responsible for providing 911 service throughout Iberia Parish. The best way to get your hands around what the Office of Emergency Preparedness does is you have to think in terms of there's 4 phases of emergency preparedness. The first one is you try and mitigate your hazards ahead of time, and then you work on your preparedness for an event. Then there is response, and then finally there's recovery from the event. So people ask me, what do you do when there's not a hurricane? Well, we're working on all those phases. So for instance, under hazard mitigation, we are trying to get for the parish any kind of hazard mitigation grant funding that's available. I'll give an example. First of all, the parish has to have an approved hazard mitigation plan. We do this once every 10 years. We just recently finished it. We have to do that so before anyone in the parish can apply for FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency hazard mitigation funding. In the last year, or in fact very recently, we were approved for a $2.8 million hazard mitigation grant. And what that will do is it's going to construct a new building out at the airport that will give us a new emergency operations center, which will be much larger than this room that I'm sitting in now, that is extremely cramped and really doesn't support our parish leaders in an emergency.
Well, that seemed like that was cut short. We have a lot that go on in Homeland Security that you didn't get an opportunity to listen to or see. This is one of the departments that, to be frank with you, most people don't even know what goes on in Homeland Security, other than preparing for hurricanes and things of that nature. But Prescott, you and your staff and your volunteers, y'all do a very good job, and we look forward to improving it even more. Right now, we're going to go to Mosquito Control. Maybe I should be saying.
Most people don't know that mosquitoes are the most deadliest animal on the planet. And that's exactly why the professional staff and employees of the Iberia Parish Mosquito Abatement District have dedicated their work to protecting the citizens of Iberia Parish, to improve their quality of life and maintain their quality of life by applying very precise applications of CDC recommended, EPA approved and registered public health pesticides to protect them from disease-carrying mosquitoes. Along with the parish administration and the approval of the Iberia Parish Council in establishing the abatement district in May 2006, we started our work here in Iberia Parish from a 2-room office building with borrowed garage space for chemical storage and nowhere to cover our vehicles. Since then, we've moved to a 6-acre purpose-built facility with secure chemical storage, a garage space for all of our vehicles and equipment, and an aircraft hangar with direct access to the airport to help support our aerial parish-wide mosquito abatement operations as well from Acadiana Regional Airport. These aerial atomizers here, these spin at a very, very high rate of revolutions, RPMs, and they emit atomized clouds of very defined size and shape droplets. That's another safety aspect, and that's also a requirement for targeting mosquitoes and nothing else. Ms. Tina Paredes, she's our mosquito specialist, along with David Zout, our biologist. So they implement and oversee the surveillance program. They will submit, they will identify and collect about 500,000 mosquitoes individually per year. According to what the type of mosquito she identifies and how many she identifies of each mosquito, we can determine an operational plan of when to spray, when we need the aircraft, when we don't need the aircraft, and then how expansive that operation should be and where to target it. The district's future is focused on improved efficiencies and effectiveness and taking advantage of innovative technologies and emergent active ingredients to improve our capability to maintain and protect and preserve the quality of life of the citizens of Iberia Parish as we move forward to improve our interface with the district and the public we serve.
As you can see, the Mosquito Control Department have a lot of science involved in what they do. At this time, we're going to do fire protection, and we're getting to the end.
My name is Guy M. Bonan. I am the Fire Chief, Iberia Parish Fire District Number 1. My overall job for the parish is to oversee our firefighting and rescue operations. I oversee a manned crew and career crew of 30 personnel, plus we also oversee our volunteer departments, which we have 80 active volunteers throughout the parish through 5 stations. Our main focus and our main job is to protect life and property in Iberia Parish. In the last couple of years, well, last 2 years, we've been able to, through taxes, to build a $4.2 million training facility in the parish, which definitely betters our training capabilities throughout the parish and for surrounding departments. And we're working on our fire insurance rating, which has been a Class 5, which if we can reduce the rating to a 4 would be a reduction in taxes actually on your fire insurance for property owners in Iberia Parish. We built a state-of-the-art training facility on Darnell Road, which also mans a 24-hour station with 2 personnel, which gives us better fire and emergency coverage on that side of the parish. We do local training along with training for other neighboring parishes and other businesses. We also assist in training with the local city fire department. We all work as a team and as a group effort to better the quality of life for Iberia Parish and the city of New Iberia.
It's so fortunate to have the type of fire protection that we have in Iberia Parish. And last, we're going to do a video on Rabies Control Department.
I'm Sonia Tozan, the Animal Shelter Manager for Iberia Parish Rabies Control Program. I oversee daily operations of the shelter, which includes owner surrenders that we take in every day, stray animals that we pick up, bite quarantines from people that have had animals that have bitten people. We have to observe them here. We also respond to animal cruelty calls. We are responsible for issuing all the rabies tags to the local veterinarians that they in turn issue to the people that vaccinate their animals. We are also responsible for housing and caring for all the animals that come in through surrenders or strays or cruelty, neglect, and things of that nature. We also have an adoption program at the shelter that we take the animals that come in that we feel are fit for a home and vet them and get them to the appropriate family. So currently we are geared towards a rabies control program with a small adoption program. But in the future, we would like to be able to expand our adoption program, have programs that allow citizens to retain their pets and not have to surrender them to the shelter due to our financial strains, educate people on various things of animals, such as the basic care of dogs and cats and things that it takes to keep an animal with you. The program that we offer for the parish is very important due to keeping stray animals away from the general public because they could cause accidents, they could bite people, they can carry different diseases from the streets to people's personal pets. We also shelter people's animals that can no longer care for them. They have a safe place to bring them, and we try and find them new homes if possible. It's just a very important program. We keep track of rabies vaccinations, which protects everyone's pets.
A lot going on at Rabies Control. When I started this here, I said I wanted to try to finish within an hour, and I think I'm getting that done. But before I close, I want to reiterate something else I said. And it's important for me to get the people of Iberia Parish to understand what we're doing with their tax dollars. Of course, most of the conversations that I get from the general population is about roads and drainage. And that's those are critical areas that need to be addressed, and we are addressing those. And with the help of the parish council, I think we're going to be pretty good. We're going to be okay. But we have so much going on in Iberia Parish that people never talk about, like what you just seen here. And I want the people of Iberia Parish to realize what we have here. We have a jewel. We have a lot of things that we need to work on, that we need to improve, but we have a lot of good things going on here. So we need to capitalize on what we have that's good and work on what we have that need to be addressed. In closing, I want to thank everyone who made this event possible. I want to thank all of the staff. I want to thank all of the council. I want to thank each and every one of you who came out here today to show that you're concerned about what's going on in Iberia Parish. We're not going anywhere. We're going to take questions. We're going to talk to you as long as you want to talk about any issue that you have. But like I said, when we started, I want to end within an hour. And it's 2 minutes to 6 on my watch. And we started at 6. At this particular time, I'd like, Scott, for you to come back on up here, if you don't mind. And the Scott is very important, which everyone else here is very important to what we do in Iberia Parish. But I want you all to know that this is a team effort that we do. This is something that's going on with not just the parish president, the CAO, the finance director, the public works director, and all of the other directors, and the parish council. This is a team effort. We have to pull together in Iberia Parish if we're going to make this work. We have a lot of decisions that we have to make that's going to be tough decisions. But if we're going to get this parish to be where we want it to be, if we're going to get this parish to bring in the business that we want to come here and keep the rooftops that we have here and bring additional rooftops, we have big decisions to make. And I'm looking forward to making these decisions. I think we have the parish council that's looking forward to working with me on those decisions and trying to do what we have to do to make this parish great. Thank you for coming this evening. Again, you have anything you want to add?
Just thank Charmaine and Derek.
Definitely got to thank Charmaine and Derek, because they are the two that actually put this production together. We don't have in Iberia Parish, like some of our neighboring parish, big money to do these types of things. So we have to do it with the people that's going to come and help us do it. And Derek, you need to stand up, you and Charmaine, because y'all did an excellent job on putting this together. We thank you so much. Okay? Again, we're here to answer any questions you have. If you want to talk to someone about Public Works, Herman is here, I'm here. If you want to talk to someone about planning and zoning, John is here, I'm here. If you want to talk about finance, Kim's here, I'm here. Okay, with saying that, I have like 30 seconds left, so we're done within 1 hour. Have a nice evening.